It's 94.7 BlairRadio.com and Saunders County Online. We're talking to Happy with CASA, and we want to say thank you to our sponsors, first of all, for being able to provide our local guest segments, Turnkey Nerds, 402-426-NERD. And if you want to learn more, you can always go to our website, BlairRadio.com or SaundersCountyOnline.com. Plus, we'll get stuff out on social media regarding this. So I want to introduce Happy. Not just an attitude, but that's your name.
Yes, it is.
So,
Happy Aldana with CASA of the Midlands.
All right. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about Happy.
Yes, and so I have been with CASA of the Midlands since 2019. We provide best interest advocacy for children involved in the court system for child abuse and neglect cases. Mm-hmm. We serve Dodge County, Washington County, and Saunders County.
Okay. And so how long have you been a part of this?
I have been a part of CASA since I was in the first graduating class in Sarpy County years and years ago.
Okay.
But I have been with Dodge County and Washington County and Saunders since 2019 when we started our 501c3 there.
Okay.
So.
And what came about to be able to create this?
Sure. So Dodge County was being served under the county itself. They had one person, but she was running, several different programs, and it became real apparent that we needed a separate entity to really be able to focus on that because of the number of children in the three counties. And so I was hired, and we got our 501c3, and we started building from there. When I arrived, we had one volunteer and one child, and now we have over 50 trained volunteers, and we've helped over 120 some kids.
Wow.
So we have grown, but we are still in the need for volunteers. We have turnover. The work we do can be tough.
Yeah.
But also we ask for a year commitment from our volunteers. And so when that year's over, some of our volunteers like to take some time off before taking another case.
Sure.
So we are always looking for other volunteers to kind of step in and move in.
So CASA, you mentioned, works with children, underprivileged, abuse, in the court system is really how you guys get involved with that. So really, is that been, we're thinking we're in a small town, we're in a great area and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is that something that has been growing?
It is. And so our Dodge County has grown the most this last year with the number of kids coming into the system out of Nebraska. CASA is a nationwide program, but the needs continue to grow every year in every state, it seems. And so Nebraska is no different. And so we recently, originally we started in Dodge, and then we expanded to Saunders, and now we're expanding to Washington County. So our focus really is on gaining volunteers in Washington County to help the children in this county, which is just over 20 a year. Typically,
about 20 a year. So
yes.
You have like a waiting list. How do you? Because are you associated then directly with the court system, or how? Because there's a lot of legal things you probably have to jump through to be able to get involved.
Sure. So our volunteers go through a training process, and once that training process is complete, they're sworn into the court as a friend of the court.
Okay.
And then they can help start working with the children that are involved in the court system. We have a close relationship with Department of Health and Human Services in our three counties, and so I contact them and ask them if there are cases that they feel a CASA would be really beneficial on. And yes, in Washington County, we do have a wait list. There are at least 3 families that we really want to focus on, and so we are always looking through the wait list and trying to match our volunteers to the correct kiddos.
All right. So and again, when you go through the process, you have let's say somebody volunteers and they go into the training, you kind of find where their passion is.
Yes, where their passion is, and if there are any complications, or they would anticipate any complications in any type of case. So, and then we discuss the case and then see if that's a good match for them.
Okay. And so can you say kind of the variety of things that you work with the children?
Sure. So a majority of our cases really come under as neglect. We don't have as many physical abuse or sexual abuse, but a majority, and I think this is probably statewide, fall under neglect. And so that could be anything from substance abuse and mental health complications, dirty house type situations, and so that all of that combined usually is what our cases entail.
And then how does a volunteer help, or what did they do?
Right. So the main role of the CASA volunteer would be to build that relationship with the child or the children in the case, really getting to know them and to visit them in the foster homes, see how they're doing, make sure they're safe there, and then writing a report to the court saying what they think their best interest is for that child. It may differ from what the child wishes, but we still extend that information to the judge so he or she would be aware of what the child would like in his or her life.
Right.
And so that is our main role, is getting that information to the judge so that judge has a whole picture and has the voice of the child in front of him.
So do you involve with home visits and stuff like that too?
Yes, and so the volunteers getting to know the child will go to the foster home and visit the child once a month at least. We have some volunteers that do more than that.
Okay.
And
how far can they go legally? You have to be careful on some of that.
No, I mean, it basically just depends on what amount of time they have that they would like to offer,
sure.
And to build those relationships. So some of our cases may have, like we had one case that had 6 children, so we had 2 volunteers tag team that case, just for time management type thing. And then they would write their court report together and then submit it to the court.
And then, so really what you're doing is being an advocate for the child.
Correct.
Whether or not the child wants those specific terms or not, you're looking out for the best interest of the child.
Correct. And, there have been times where the children, because of the trauma that they've been through, may not be as open to having a volunteer. And we had one case in particular where that was the situation. And the oldest girl, she was a senior in high school, was really reluctant to build that relationship with a CASA volunteer because she had been let down before many times.
Right.
But over time, and that case was open for quite a while, she became very close with her advocate, even calling her grandma. And so building that relationship, and it really took that case and that girl's situation into a very positive situation. She ended up graduating. She got a full ride scholarship to a very wonderful college in Nebraska. And so she's studying to be a doctor now. So that relationship really blossomed quickly after that.
Okay. So again, it is being involved, being able to make an impact on an individual in a relationship basis.
Yes. Making sure that they feel heard. Oftentimes they're the ones that are being moved. They have different foster homes, several different foster homes, maybe several different caseworkers for whatever varying reasons. And so it would be the one constant person in their life or that life of that case, and that really makes a difference in their lives.
Okay. Well, really quick before we take a break, if somebody wants to find out more about CASA, what would be the best way for them to learn about you?
They can go to our website at casaofthemidlands.org. And they can learn about that and complete a questionnaire, and we can give them a call back, or they can call us at 402-816-4131.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break and come back more because we're getting into a difficult time of year for a lot of kids.
Yes.
So I just really want to talk about that and then how to move forward right here on 94.7, BlairRadio.com, and Saunders County Online.